I downloaded a game that shouldn't exist. The first time the game typed my name, I thought it was just a trick. A glitch, maybe. Some dumb developer who got hold of my account details and hard-coded them into the dialogue box as a cheap scare. But then it said something else. "Why are you playing this, my name?" I froze. My hands hovered above the keyboard, fingers stiff, like they weren't mine anymore. The character on the screen, this pixelated, blurry thing with no face, just stood there in the middle of a black void, waiting for me to respond. I hadn't typed anything, hadn't clicked, hadn't moved. But the game wasn't finished. "I know what you've done." My headphones filled with static. Not the ordinary white noise kind, but sharp, needling bursts that made my jaw ache. For a second, I thought maybe I'd left a mic on, that someone was feeding audio back through some hacked connection. But the voice wasn't mine. It wasn't anyone's. It sounded like the game itself was trying to talk through the static, like words forming inside broken radio signals. And then my webcam light flicked on. That was when I yanked the power cord straight from the wall. Screen went black. Room went silent. My heart hammering in my throat so hard it made me dizzy. But even in the dark, I swear I could still see it. Those words etched behind my eyelids. "I know what you've done." I shouldn't even be telling you this. Honestly, I've thought a dozen times about deleting everything, scrubbing my drive, and pretending none of this ever happened. But then I remember the folder I found, the list of names hidden in its code. And one of those names I recognized. That's why I'm recording this now before it's too late. Because if the game knew my name, it probably knows yours too. It started out simple, harmless even. Just another night, another pointless search for something weird to play. I wasn't looking for trouble. I wasn't even supposed to find it. But curiosity is a disease and I caught it. To explain how everything went wrong, I need to start at the beginning. I wasn't some adrenaline junkie looking for a thrill. Honestly, most nights I was just bored. You know, the kind of boredom that feels like it eats at you from the inside. That's what I lived in. I'd come home from a day of nothing, collapse into my chair and scroll through the same stale sites until my eyes blurred. Games were the only escape that still had any bite left, but even those felt dull. That's why I ended up haunting those obscure corners of the internet. The forums nobody moderates. The download sites with layouts straight out of 2006. I wasn't looking for anything specific. I just wanted something weird, something different. A hidden gem, a creepy old ROM hack, anything to make me feel like I'd discovered something no one else had. I kept a Discord tab open too. That's where my friend Mark usually hung out, half lurking, half mocking my obsession with sketchy crap, as he called it. Mark. One day you're gonna catch a virus so bad your laptop starts bleeding. Me. Better than playing Fortnite again. Mark. Touché. But when you end up cursed, don't say I didn't warn you. That was Mark. Always ready with a joke. But I knew he secretly liked watching me dive into digital trash heaps. It was like I was his personal entertainment. Me risking my hard drive for the chance of finding something broken and bizarre. Most nights it was nothing. Weird mods, glitchy demos, fan-made garbage. I'd boot them up, laugh at how unplayable they were, and delete them 5 minutes later. A kind of ritual. Normalcy for me. And that's the part that stings the most when I think back. There was nothing unusual about that night. I wasn't following some breadcrumb trail of conspiracy. No whispered invitation from the shadows. It was just me, slouched in my chair, scrolling a half-dead forum with maybe 6 people online. That's when I saw it. The post wasn't flashy, just a plain thread with the title, "Do Not Download." No emojis, no clickbait. The username was nonsense. Random letters, numbers, like someone face-rolled their keyboard. Normally I would have ignored it, except the timestamp caught my eye. It had been posted just 2 minutes before I clicked. And the replies were already gone, deleted. At first, I thought maybe the mods had nuked them. But this forum didn't have mods. It was one of those free-for-all wastelands where anything goes. So who had cleaned it up so fast? The thread only had one line left visible. "If you find this file, don't run it." No link, no explanation. Just that. I laughed because of course I did. When you spend your nights swimming in creepypasta knockoffs and fake haunted ROMs, you build up a kind of sinful armor. Don't run it? That was practically an invitation. And yet a part of me, some quiet, smarter part, hesitated. Maybe it was Mark's voice in my head. Maybe it was the eerie timing, but I hovered there for longer than I'd like to admit. If I'd clicked away then, if I'd shut down and gone to bed, everything would be different. But I didn't, because deep down I didn't want different. I wanted dangerous, and that post had given me just enough of a taste. The thread didn't have a link anymore, at least not one I could see. But curiosity is a cruel thing. It scratches until you bleed. I started scrolling, checking the cached version of the page, digging through little breadcrumbs the way I always did when I wanted to find something that wasn't meant for me. That's when I noticed it. A broken image link buried near the bottom of the post. The alt text wasn't English. It looked like a jumble of symbols and slashes, something between corrupted code and a language I couldn't place. But when I hovered over it, my browser displayed a path, a download path. It led to a file directory, unlisted but still alive. My stomach knotted in that particular way it does when you know you're trespassing, but can't stop yourself. I copied the URL, pasted it into a new tab, and there it was. One file, no name, just a string of numbers. The size caught my attention first. 6.666 GB. Too big for an indie project, too small for a AAA title, and yet perfectly stupidly on the nose. I chuckled, shaking my head. Someone thought they were clever. Still, my hand hovered over the download button. Pray me on Discord. What's that grin for? Me? Found something cursed. Size is literally 666. Mark, perfect. Save me a seat in hell. Me, nah, you're not invited. I clicked. The progress bar crawled across my screen. My antivirus immediately freaked out, flashing red warnings like Christmas lights. Severe threat detected. Quarantine recommended. I disabled it. I wish I could say that was out of character for me, but it wasn't. This was the ritual. Ignore the alarms. Pretend I was in control. Tell myself it was all smoke and mirrors. Developers planting fake scares to make their little projects feel dangerous. The file took an hour to finish. When it did, I opened the folder and frowned. It wasn't an installer. No setup wizard, no readme file. Just a single executable with a name that made no sense. Continue exe. No caps, no version number. Just that. I double-clicked. Nothing happened. No splash screen, no error message. Just nothing. For a moment I figured it was a dud. Maybe it was corrupt. Maybe the real scare was wasting an hour on nothing. But when I checked Task Manager, there it was, running quietly in the background. Okay, I muttered. Creepy points for stealth mode. I tried to end the task. It wouldn't close. Not unusual for stubborn software, but irritating. I sighed, deciding to reboot and be done with it. My monitor flickered black. When the desktop came back, there was a new folder sitting dead center of the screen. No label, just an empty gray icon. I didn't put it there. My pulse thudded in my ears as I double-clicked. Inside was a single text file. Its name? Thank you, BX'd. I hesitated, but only for a second. Curiosity was already running the show. The file contained one line. We've been waiting for you.